All day on Sundays, we have Coors Light and Miller Lite Big Daddies for $3.50. And you can score 20 wings and a pitcher of beer for just $20. Hooters has DirecTV's Sunday tickets so you can catch every game. And while you're here, be sure to ask your Hooters girl how you can enter to win a brand new 42-inch TV. Stop by our Aurora location at 2610 South Parker Road, just off Havana and Parker. And check us out at facebook.com/Hooters Colorado. Join me and make Hooters your home for NFL football all season long.
On your desktop, on your laptop.
Sports and lifestyle drops right here. Go Mile High. GoMileHigh.com.
Hey, John, why do you keep hitting yourself in the head with that hammer?
Well, I found this really great home. It's a Fannie Mae foreclosure, and it needs some renovations, but I don't know who to talk to about getting financing on this type of home.
You should call the mortgage team of Jennifer Hill and Matt Harris at American Liberty Mortgage. They were able to get me and my husband a renovation loan, and we were able to finance all the rehab costs.
Really?
Yeah, and they're really easy to work with, and interest rates are really low right now.
Do you have their number?
Of course I do. You can call the mortgage team of Jennifer and Matt at 303-901-6042. That's 303-901-6042. Now put that hammer on the ground and back away slowly.
This is the most watched superstar of Colorado, Wayne DeWayne, and you are watching The Michael Titus Show.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lakewood, Colorado. Welcome to GoMileHigh.com. Welcome to the Michael Titus Show. I am your host, the omnipotent oppressor of duplicitous twerps, manager extraordinaire, the Rocky Mountain Mouth, Michael Titus. And on today's show, I'll be talking about the Royal Rumble coming up this Sunday, and how, why, what, where, all of those about how wrestling made history this past weekend here in Colorado. And I've got a man in the studio who's going to tell me all about it. But first, I want to let you all know about some milestones. 2 years ago, on January 16th, 2010, I made my debut as a manager in wrestling. And I just noticed here on Facebook that the superstar has just celebrated his 500th day as the ACW Institutional Champion. It all started back on September 11th, 2010. So it's a lot of milestones here in Colorado. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to you my guest, my very special guest, the man who celebrated a monumental feat this past weekend, but it's one of those things that some people say may be a tragedy of sorts. But I want to introduce to you at this time, he is the countercultural superhero, Trajan Ender.
Well, thank you very much, Michael Titus. It's very good to be here. First time I've ever been in studio, so I'm very excited.
I'm very excited to have you here. I've been wanting you to come on for a long time, and it just never seemed to work out with your very extensive booking schedule that you had. You're a busy man. They wanted you all over. But now it seems that you have a lot of time on your hands. So you were gracious enough to say, hey, I want to come on. I want to talk a few things that I've got on my mind. And I said, I'll be more than happy to let you come on my show. And so I wanted to, of course, not only let you get your chance to talk about what happened this past weekend, but I want you to tell me what led up to this past weekend, how your career has evolved over the past 10 years, and where it all started, where it all came from your youth to now.
Well, I had the unfortunate ability to say that I have 3 older brothers that are 8, 10, and 12 years older than me that were very into wrestling as a kid. I remember playing with our old WWF ring with a Hillbilly Jim rubber figure that was like a blunt object that no child should ever be able to play with. So wrestling's always been around me. It wasn't until the days of WCW Nitro, when the Monday Night Wars kicked in, that I saw a match between Rey Mysterio and Dean Malenko. I saw 2 guys who were not much bigger than me. They were heavier, but they were about the same height, and it gave me the confidence that I could actually pursue this. I was a huge fan of the Rockers, and I loved that high-flying style of Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels, and those were some major influences on the early part of my childhood. As a teenager, I graduated high school a semester early. Wasn't really into it. Wasn't feeling the school thing. I started working at Suncoast Video Store. I was working one day, and a guy by the name of Rowdy Knight came into my store and purchased some VHS wrestling tapes. He was wearing a hat that said RMCW. For those that don't know, RMCW stands for Rocky Mountain Championship Wrestling. It is it's an infamous company here in Colorado that some say will never die. It even has been given a few nicknames over that, which I won't go into on the air.
Started back in 1998, and a group of guys put it together, and it has become one of the storied companies around here. Every company has branched off of it in one way, shape, or form. And in fact, Rowdy Knight, the interesting enough about him is that he was the one who gave me the name, the Rocky Mountain Mouth.
No, you're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding about that. He gave it to me. So, but please continue on.
Absolutely. So I talked to him. He said we have a show on late night, Saturday nights, 2 o'clock in the morning. Watch that. I watched it. It says we have a wrestling school that happened to be right across the street from Westminster Mall where I was working at the time, which has been demolished since then. That's how long ago I got in the business. There was a training facility right across the way. I went in, saw it, got my butt kicked, quite frankly, by Lonnie Valdez, among other people. Titanium Chan Moody was this big 6'5", 265-pound CU Buffalo. Came in very first night. I had my hell night in the business, and he came in, and I was in the corner. He came in, bull rushed me. I had no idea how to take a corner spot. Snapped me in the face. My head snapped back, and I've had neck problems every single day I've been in this wrestling business because of Tian Moody. But anyway, from there I worked for companies, IWF early in my career. I ended up working for them later on and becoming their champion, so that came full circle, and that was one of my greater successes. I've had many names in this business. You've known me under 2 names. Trajan Ender is my current one. It started as Tragic. Was my very first name given to me. I wrote down a list of names. Lonnie Valdez looked it over, and he decided Tragic was the best one. I was a skinny little white, frail-bodied kid with a really goofy goatee, and he liked Tragic, so I was that for about 2 years of my career. I decided I wanted to go babyface. I wanted to be a good guy, and Tragic's not a very good guy name. So I was like, what can I do? I started looking up some Roman, Greek mythology, history, that kind of stuff. I was into that. And I found an emperor named Trajan, and I thought that was really cool and unique. So I was Trajan Alexander for a little while. As I was Trajan Alexander, I tagged with a guy named Damon Jace. So we were Jace and Alexander. Who Jason Alexander is George from Seinfeld, which was completely accidental. We didn't intend to do that. It was just a nice slip up, but we were called Era. We tag teamed for a while. We had some success. I think we won the UCW belts in Utah. They still run up there today with Martin Casals. He still runs with UCW. It's gone through. We owned Saga. I ran Saga with my buddies Lonnie Valdez and Epic. And Damon Jace, actually, for a while. Actually, Super Destroyer Robert Amador was our 5th guy at first. He was the first person on the loan. And he had other business issues, so he stopped it. But so the 4 of us ran Saga, ran it for from 2003 to about 2008. Late 2007, we got an investor. We got some money backing us. We brought in the Sandman, Raven, Christopher Daniels, and Joy Ryan. We did a super show out here at Red and Jerry's. Drew a lot of people. One of the highest grossing shows I've ever been a part of. But we lost that investor. Attendance went back down to independent style attendance. So we shut down, went on hiatus, never to return. Still hasn't happened. And then I started pursuing my own career. I went out to Philadelphia to try out with Ring of Honor Wrestling, based out of Bristol, Pennsylvania. It's one of the top, if not the top, independent promotion right now. Went out there to test my mettle against the rest of the talent in the country, see where I stacked up. And I went out there, and I was comparable, but it was clear that I didn't have every single aspect that you needed to have. My character wasn't strong enough. My look wasn't strong enough, and I needed a change. I got great advice from guys like Jim Cornette, who is their executive producer of television, Kevin Kelly, former ring announcer, commentator for the WWE, WWF back in the day, and Delirious, amongst others. Took that advice, came back home, thought about it, and decided that Joshua Michael, who I was the unreal Joshua Michael at the time, wasn't strong enough and wasn't marketable enough. And that's when I kind of went to the past and brought some things